I think I saw that it's already started there, Brian.
All right, perfect. Perfect. So here we go. So modernizing project management using Microsoft tools that you already have. Brought to you by Innovative E in partnership with Microsoft. So without further ado, today's agenda, we're going to hear a few words from Microsoft's very own George Bullock. We're going to learn why Teams is the obvious choice for work and project management. We're going to witness how powerful, easy to use tools like Project for the Web are changing the project management landscape. We're going to discuss how Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI enhance the work and project management experience inside of Teams, and see how Teams 4 PM, brought to you by Innovative E, brings work and project management to life in Teams. Take a look at our team. So the Innovative E team live from the Power Platform Conference in Orlando. That shot was taken yesterday. So we're really getting into and digging into the Power Platform and this conference that's taking place right now. Only about 40 minutes from where I am currently sitting today. Our team is participating at a high level. So that's happening in real time. So for those of you that I don't know if anyone else is at the conference or knows of people or has people on their team at the conference, feel free to chat about that and let us know. But it's a really exciting event. A little bit about us. So we are Innovative E. We are your hosts today for today's webinar, which is co-sponsored by Microsoft. For award-winning expertise on the Microsoft platform, we are your partner of choice. Our mission is to transform work and project management into a competitive advantage with a modern cloud-based collaboration tool set that enables everyone to work toward their core objectives. And we're honored by Microsoft for 2 awards this past year in 2022. In the Partner of the Year Awards, we were finalists in both customer experience and in project portfolio management. And that was the 3rd year in a row that we were finalists for project portfolio management. So we want to hear a little bit more from you. So we're going to light up a poll in Teams, and we're going to ask your opinion about something. So Pamela's going to light that poll up so everybody can see it. And the poll question is, which of these apply to your team or organization? So select all that apply. Is project information spread among disparate legacy systems? Are you wasting time on tedious, repetitive tasks? Do you want to work more efficiently from the cloud? Do you need complete visibility to help drive decisions, but your data does not support it? And is your work managed inefficiently with disconnected tools? Select all that apply, and we'll take a look at that poll coming in now.
Yeah, don't forget to click the submit button at the bottom once you've put your answers in there.
Okay, so we've got them pouring in. There we go. So we've got some real-time results here to share for you.
And the scroll bar takes time too. Yeah.
Drum roll, please. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, it looks like there's quite a few people that whose work is managed inefficiently with disconnected tools. That's the most popular answer so far, Mike.
Yeah, it seems to be the front runner. And then wasting time on tedious, repetitive tasks. Isn't that true? Only 1% in the other category.
Other, yeah. I don't know why other was an option.
Pretty good spread though. Project information spread, that one, and you want to work more efficiently from the cloud. Yep.
Yeah, some good results here. It's really spread out. Okay, thanks for sharing that, folks. Definitely want to talk about some ways that we can help you work more efficiently with more connected tool sets, and we're gonna focus on a lot of that today.
Yeah, that's kind of the bane of work and project management over the years, right? You end up with, you've got a tool that you're doing something in, and then you've got another tool, and then you end up having, they're disconnected, then you pull them together, and typically, a lot of times spreadsheets and other things are used to kind of aggregate that. And so this disconnected chasing data has always been a big issue.
That's right, Mike. And for those of you that don't know, Mike Taylor, the CEO of Innovative E, going to be adding some color to the conversation today. So I appreciate you joining us, Mike.
Thank you.
So we've talked about that a lot, right? So project management systems being a representation of the work. Somewhere some people have to go in order to log time or basically indicate status. And what we're trying to do is change the conversation there into something more collaborative, something that you're actually using the project management system to do the work or complete the work.
Yep.
All right, so let's move on. So I appreciate that, everybody participating in that poll. So what are we trying to do here today? What I want to talk to you about is how to leverage Teams, Microsoft Teams, for project management and start collaborating. So because projects are about getting work done, not just representing the work that's getting done. And new easy to learn project tools are built to put collaboration first. So you can embrace the casual project managers in your organization. And what do we mean by casual project managers? What we're talking about there, you may refer to them as different things. It may just be part of someone's job to manage projects, or they may be managing a team of people, and projects are inevitably come up. They may not be trained project managers in the PMI sense, but they nonetheless manage projects. And so we are, for lack of a better term, referring to them today as casual project managers. Some might refer to them as accidental project managers, but that may be more of a humorous term.
Right.
So what those folks are managing project, and what we want to do is we want to give them the right tools to do that, and not have them do it in Excel or in some other third-party tool that is out there with on the internet, with your data being spread out among different cloud systems and vulnerable. What we want to do is provide an IT sanctioned, user-friendly a solution for them to manage projects in their organization.
Right. That leverages the Microsoft Secure Cloud, right? I mean, so
Yeah.
it's all about the platform.
So then we can reduce those shadow IT solutions and stop the spread of disparate data in different clouds. Some common challenges that we do hear from folks, and you guys expressed this already in the poll, is that collaboration on projects or otherwise is always happening, obviously, but the work and project management that govern it stand apart from the actual work that's taking place. And formal work and project management roles address critical issues, but tool sets are often outdated and overly complex. Non-traditional roles, meanwhile, are managing significant work and making decisions without full access to PM tools and information. So we see this happening across the board, and many, many different customers and potential customers that we talk to.
Tools been around a long time, but typically only are used by a small percentage of the organization. Your IT or your engineering or your R&D, your software development. But there's a huge amount of work going on that everybody else is doing that you really don't have visibility into, and that people heretofore have not been able to participate in, even if they're needed for licensure reasons and everything else. And the tool sets have evolved to the point where all those barriers are breaking down now, and it's so much easier to involve everyone. So that's what's really exciting about this.
Right, exactly. Meanwhile, Teams usage is absolutely skyrocketing. So over 300 million users now across the globe, and 9 out of 10 Fortune 500 companies are using Teams. You're looking at 500,000 plus organizations. So everybody's using Teams. I want to say everybody, I'm using that in the colloquial sense, of course. It's not everybody. Not everybody's that cool. But everybody is using hybrid work systems and working from home. And sometimes they go to the office, sometimes they work from home. So tools like this, and Teams is a huge one, are skyrocketing. Now, Teams usage across Microsoft-based organizations, folks that have a lot of different Microsoft tools, is becoming really core and central to the way that they work. And Teams offers so much more than just a video conferencing solution. It's really how people are working these days. It's how they're collaborating, and collaborating on projects is a huge part of that. As a matter of fact, what were you saying the other day, Mike, that it could be, what would you say a good percentage of the work that's actually happening in teams, what percentage of that would you say is project related?
Of people that are doing information work, a lot of it has been automated. Your traditional kind of ERP type systems have automated a lot of that, so that leaves information workers to do things that by definition have some form of beginning and end and some scope or thing that they need to do. So it's a huge percentage of work, like at least 25 to 40%, somewhere in that range probably.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's just amazing. So what is the current state of Microsoft Teams adoption at your company? Let's take another quick poll, and then I want to turn it over to our special guest today to say a few words from Microsoft. So let's turn it over to, let's turn this poll on. So let's see, current state, Teams adoption, here we go. There we go, now it's live. You want to take a look at that? Let us know. And the results are trickling in.
Oh, I love that we're all in, is in the lead.
Wow.
So, yeah, 50%. Using Teams and Pockets, catching on. Raise the low percentage not using Teams at all. That's awesome. So there's at least some amount, and I think that's what we're hearing a lot from customers all over the place, that there's some amount of Teams. So 98% of this poll right now so far is using some amount of Teams functionality. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, it's the audience that was interested in this webinar. So
could be.
Yeah, it's like saying
you guys
there's
are great
baseball fans at a baseball game. But
that may be.
Yeah, but the extent to which you guys are using it is 52% are saying you're all in, and then 31% are saying only in pockets, and 13% it's really catching on. So that's great. Now, one thing that I think is just an observation that I've had is that project management as a workload, if you're just using it in pockets, if you're just using Teams in pockets, project management as a workload might be a really good way to start, because it's a contained, group of people that need to get a certain thing done and need to show results, and get together and work on an effort where that might be a really good use case for your company to step into using Teams rather than just kind of lighting it up for people and saying, what do you think?
Exactly.
Could show some really good value there.
Yeah, and people are organically moving towards Teams because they're in there all day to manage work anyway. So like you said, it's a great place to get going for project work.
Yep. So I want to turn it over to our friend George Bullock, who's here from Microsoft. George, are you on the call today?
Yes, I am on the call. Good to see you.
Hey, how are you doing?
From you.
Yep,
good.
Excellent. Yeah, good. Doing well. Thanks for joining today. I know you had a few thoughts and things you wanted to share with the group. So I wanted to turn it over to you so you could do that.
Yeah, let me know. Is everyone seeing my deck here? I think so.
Yep.
So one thing, I'm senior product marketing manager for Microsoft Project, very passionate about the product and the space, but also I work across Microsoft in general because we really see the Microsoft platform as the place for collaborative work management, not any specific tool. So I'm going to very briefly talk to you about a few things today. I want to be very respectful of Innovative E's time. We've worked extensively with Innovative E as we work with other partners, and I consider you guys friends as well. Brian and I were lucky enough to get together in Port St. Lucie a while back and raise one. So let's get started.
Yep.
So one of the things we really feel about the Microsoft platform is that it's a platform that can meet all of your project management needs in a single connected way. Now, we're still working on some of the connections, but we're really excited about where we are and where we're going. And it starts really with Project for the Web. And as you may know, Project for the Web is built on the Power Platform. It's also comes with a Power App that I'm not sure if Brian will be showing to you, but you get full rights to customize. And in fact, we also have a version of this Power App up on GitHub called the Accelerator, which you can download and install as a solution. And you get just really robust capabilities for project management. Now, that's not all with Project. Project is also natively integrated with Office 365. So our security and collaboration context for a project is a team. You can show projects in Teams. You can start projects from within Teams, store your documents in the SharePoint behind your team, et cetera, et cetera. And another exciting thing we have coming up is that if you've used the Tasks by Planner and To-Do app in Teams, we are working to bring Project for the Web tasks in there as well. And in fact, at Microsoft, we see tasks as really part of the infrastructure. So we have a lot of exciting work going on there. Project is built on Power Apps. That means, as I said, you have this Power App, you're fully able to customize it and also build Power Automate workflows under it. And you don't need a separate Power App license or a Power Automate license to do that. Power BI is our native reporting service. We ship a pack of like 12 excellent reports. To use those reports, to download them and install them, you need at least a Project Plan 1 and a Power BI. But to read the reports, you only need a Power BI. So you don't need a project license to read any of the project reports. And you can also, with a Plan 1 at least and a Power BI, you can create your own reports, customize the ones we give you. As I said, we're natively part of Teams. And actually, one of the things we've done is if you're working on a team with people who don't have a project license, but they have an Office E3 or E5 license, they will still be able to open the tasks assigned to them and manage the basic status of those tasks, like the % complete and whether or not the task is complete. Finally, because we're built on the Power Platform, for example, our resource management leverages the Universal Resource Scheduling Engine, which is part of Dynamics 365. And as you'll see in the Innovative E demonstration, because we're on the Power Platform, because we're natively integrated in Teams, great partners like Innovative E have done really great stuff on the platform. Finally, we do have an integration with Azure DevOps, Azure Boards in our roadmap capability. So we're really excited about how things are fitting together now, and we're going further, especially we have some really interesting thoughts about Project and Planner. I can't say too much about them now, but we'll be talking about them more as we go. Really kind of went through this, but managing the planning, that's Project or Planner, depending on what meets your needs better. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Communicate and collaborate, obviously, as teams. Tailor, configure, extend, customize, that's Power Apps. Power Apps and Power BI are both there to provide visibility. For example, the reports are baked into our Power App Accelerator. Power Automate's there to automate. And again, if the customizations or the workflows are in the context of your project installation, you don't need separate Power App or Power Automate licensing. With all that, we have a robust platform, but we simply want to enable teams to work the way they want and enterprises to get the results they need. That's kind of our organizing principle. The last thing I'm going to do, sorry, I should have removed that little tag there, but I'm going to talk about how we see Project and Planner and Power Apps as a grow-up story. And it really starts with Planner. Many of us have used Planner. We use it extensively along with Project for the Web. It's built on Microsoft 365. It's got a Kanban board experience, familiar task management tool set, and it's built right into Teams. In fact, more than 50% of our traffic comes from Teams. And so SharePoint's the background library, et cetera. So if you need to just get some tasks on a board, get started. There's also a list view in the Tasks by Planner and To-Do app. And if the core of the realm is really the task, like when is a task due, is it complete, is it not complete, then Planner is great for you. Now, if you love Planner, but you need things like dynamic scheduling, a Gantt chart, subtasks and dependencies and more, and especially cross-project visibility, Project is probably the right answer. And we're looking at ways to help you naturally grow up from Planner into Project and even connect the two tools together. So Project, I've already talked in detail, and one of the things to point out or reiterate is all of the project data is in what's called the Dataverse, which is the native data store for the Power Platform. So reporting is very extensive. And finally, if you love Project for the Web, but you need to go that extra mile, we provide this project in Power Apps and a highly customized version of it in the accelerator. And again, with your project licenses, you can do much of what you need to do here. And these are screenshots here. This is Planner on the left, and it shows, one of the key differences, the Gantt chart, Project for the Web on the right. And then finally, this is the dashboard page of the accelerator. It has other areas for managing incoming demand with the project request entity, managing projects as programs. Many more native fields are shown in the accelerator than are in the core Project for the Web experience. So we're really excited about the accelerator. A lot of customers using it. Partners are building their own experiences on it or coming into customers. But finally, as I hand it over to Innovative E, again, one of the great things here is if you're working with a partner like Innovative E, their solutions are really kind of first-class members of the project platform, because as long as they're building based on things like Teams and Power Apps, for example, everything's still living right there in the platform. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your interest in Microsoft Project. I hand it over to my good friends and very capable partners at Innovative E.
Yeah, that was great, George. Thank you very much. And like you said, it's all about the platform. I mean, that's really where things are going. And, people are, as we get through this, Brian's going to be doing some demonstration and we're talking about it. But if there's one takeaway, it's don't think about project and work management the way you used to. Don't think about it as siloed applications. Think about all that you can do with the greatness that is the platform itself, the single secure platform, all the robustness that the Power Platform gives you, all the connectivity it gets you with the hundreds of connectors, the extensibility. So it's really gives you things. It's like I said, we're super excited about it because it's creating opportunities to do things that have always been challenges that you were always chasing it, and there was always workarounds and other licensing issues, and all that is Microsoft has broken down most of those walls. There's still some areas like the ADO connector and other things that are in work, but for the most part, it's there now, and it's super exciting.
Yeah, thanks, George.
I have to go to another meeting, but I've seen we've dug into your solution. I really dig it, and hope to see you again soon, Brian.
Yeah,
and get up to
George.
St. Augustine. I'm down here in Port St. Lucie. All right, everybody, have a great time.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot,
George.
Well, it's great to have George join us today, and so many very, very exciting things that Microsoft is working on the platform. And we're going to talk more about that now. So I'm going to show you some examples, and I'm going to show you some demonstration so you can become more familiar with these solutions. I'm going to go ahead and reshare my screen. And with that, let's talk a little bit about Project for the Web. Now, George had mentioned Project for the Web is the new, easy to use tool available from Microsoft. It's actually built on the Power Platform. And I want to show you what it looks like when you use it inside of Teams. Now, of course, you don't have to. It just really is better together with Teams. And so here are a couple of screenshots, and then I'm going to go into demo in a moment. But just a few highlights here about what Project for the Web can do. So in your project schedule, you can do real-time co-authoring. That means that you can be inside the Project for the Web schedule at the same time as somebody else and make changes with them in real time. You will see their changes happen on the screen as you're watching them occur. And so that technology is really something that a lot of people have been asking for with Project, and the current versions of Project are actually a little cumbersome in that area. You have to check in things and check them out in order to see other people's changes. There is a ability to copy a project and kind of templatize it for another purpose. So let's say that you have certain types of projects that you are going to do over and over again. When you're using it in Teams, of course, you can use the threaded discussion feature either on a project or a task level. So you can have a conversation in Teams about the project or about a particular item. Of course, you can assign resources throughout the experience to other people on the team so that they receive notifications about those things and they can take action on them. Now, a lot of you have been asking for this for quite a while from the project community and from the project product team in Redmond, the ability to have Kanban boards and to work in different methodologies, and Project for the Web allows you to do that. You can have an easy to use card interface where you're moving things from not started to in progress to completed, just like you do in Planner, only that you're doing it the same for the tasks that are in the grid view, the board view, and the timeline, and it is reactive in all three different views. Dependency management is something that you can't do in Planner, and you can only do in Project. So Project has a scheduling engine. Tasks are dependent on one another, and they result in a critical path and a predictable end dates. So that's just a couple of points I'd like to make first about Project before I show it to you in real time. And also wanted to talk about what George was discussing is using Power BI in concert with Project. And when you do that, you can also do that in Teams, just right alongside your project schedule in a team on another tab. So there is a Power BI pack that you can download from GitHub that George had mentioned, and it contains a set of reports that basically read data immediately from Project and display it in Power BI. And so you can have a centralized project dashboard, make better decisions, increase awareness, eliminate manual status reporting, potentially have other reports that display timelines, milestones, tasks, resources. And of course, it's built in Power BI, so it's always up to date on the latest data on a regular refresh schedule that you set. Let's take one more small poll before we get into any more further detail about the demonstration. So I'm just going to go ahead and head over to the poll area one more time and click on the poll. Okay. Well, think about this. So when considering the use of Teams for project management, which of the following would be a priority for you? Would it be the ability to enable workflow for project intake, bridging complex and simple projects into a single data set, incorporating agile work management processes, centralizing and collaborative risk issue management, automating and standardizing the creation of project Teams channels, or standardized project status reporting? All those things are potentially important. A lot of customers want all of that stuff, and that's what you can do with these solutions. So one of the more popular ones usually is bridging complex and simple projects into a single data set. And we're going to show you how to do that here in a moment.
Yeah, and somebody's posted in the chat. Michael had posted centralizing the collaborative risk and issue management, which is a big one too. Yep.
Definitely, definitely.
And the more you do that, the more value you get out of actually doing issue and risk management, which a lot of people don't do because it's not necessarily easy.
Well, and risk and issue management is such a key part of successful project management that
it really is.
You know, it's too often it's something that, you know, in a project management office or something that you'll eventually get to. Like, boy, it would be great if we were good at risk management. I'll tell you what, don't put it off, because if you start embracing some of those concepts, then you're going to reap benefits right away. Even if you're just trying to trickle it in a little bit. It's not some huge grandiose thing that you'll someday, you know, be able to tackle. Risk management is so imperative to the day-to-day success of projects that once you start instituting some of that stuff, you're really going to benefit from that.
Yeah, and we'll show you there's easier ways to capture that information, which makes it much easier to actually do the proper risk management. So that's awesome.
Yep. So we talked about this already. These solutions, there is a platform for managing work and organized work, projectized work on the Microsoft platform, and that's what they're building. That they're not building one tool that does everything. They used to have Project and Project Server, and you know, Project Online is like, that's the tool you use. That's all you need to manage your projects. And there's been a shift. Microsoft is enabling these solutions that are built on the entire platform. And they're positioning the platform to be able to build out these solutions specific to the way that your company wants to use them. And so it's everything. It's everything from the use of Power BI for reporting. Of course, Microsoft is not going to have its own a separate reporting solution just for project management. They're going to leverage the enterprise grade, very highly successful Power BI. They're not going to have another solution that handles workflow inside of a project management system. They're going to leverage Power Automate, which is, again, a very robust enterprise grade solution. And Power Apps is what Microsoft Project is now built on and with. So Project for the web that we just showed and that George talked about is itself a Power App. It is built entirely on the Power Platform. So when we talk about the Power Platform, we're usually talking about these three things today. There's also Power Virtual Agents, which we won't get into a lot today, but we are starting to dip our toe into as well. So Power BI for reporting, Power Automate for workflow, and automation, and Power Apps to create these centralized experiences in the Microsoft platform. I want to show you a solution that Innovative E has built and extended the use of Project on that platform. I'm going to play a short video for you, and we're going to talk about this in a minute. So Teams for PM is what we call our app. It's built by Innovative E. It allows you to create new projects from scratch using a simple form inside of Teams. This is using all Microsoft platform technologies and just pre-configuring them together and creating a solution for you. To approve those requests, we're using, obviously, Power Automate, and we enable you to use Project for the web or Project Online or both. So you can use both of them inside of Teams. It's going to automate the project channel creation in the team for that channel, and it's going to create that channel automatically and all of the requisite tabs that are at the top. It's going to allow you to log risks and issues from a Teams chat thread directly so that you never forget to log that issue or log that risk. And so you can centrally administer everything in one place and have a central Power App for all of your projects and an interface where you can make changes to different project data aspects, see everything in one place, including the issues, the risks, and the lessons learned, and automate the Teams channel creation so that it's created upon approval. And so everybody is creating the teams and the channels in a consistent fashion. It uses Project or Project Online inside of that tab. Right. Power BI for the reporting aspect, and SharePoint lists for the issues, lessons learned, and risks. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I was just going to come back to the point you said, and I think it probably will resonate given that the number of folks that said, and a high percentage of folks that said that they were already using Teams, that aspect of it where, it provisions and you have a common way that all the Teams infrastructure or all the taxonomy and the channels are all created like ways, because team sprawl can get to be a real issue with organizations as they start to adopt it, and doing, trying to manage the same type of work different ways because people have the ability to change the way that they do that can be very can cause a lot of thrash. So that's actually a pretty valuable thing to be able to have a standard governance.
Yeah, I mean, it sure is. So if you're thinking about using Teams for project management, you can pull a project schedule into Teams and make it available in tab inside of a Teams channel. If every project manager did that the exact same way and they built it out where they were capturing their risks and their issues and their lessons learned, I don't think everybody's going to end up doing that the same way. So you're going to have some inconsistency in the way that projects are managed in Teams, and you're going to struggle with collecting all of that ancillary data, all that project related data. So what we did is we built a solution that pre-configures that for you, pre-automates or creates the Teams channels so that they're automated and governed and consistent across the board. Okay, so let's find out a little bit more about that. So Teams for PM is by Innovative E is available in the Microsoft App Source. It's built with Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI. It optimizes and extends teams for work and project management and centralizes the management of all project data, regardless of complexity. And for those of you that are already using Project Online and wondering, well, how do I get that into Teams? And how can I light that experience up in Teams? Well, we can help you do that because we give you the choice of, do you want to use a project schedule from Project Online, or do you want to use the new project for the web? So you can have that single dashboard for all project work, regardless of complexity. And you can log risks and issues right from a Teams chat. And you can, because we're consolidating the data all together in one place, like we talked about earlier, you're really creating a possibility to learn off of that data. And we're already looking in the ways of using artificial intelligence for that. And you can then connect the data to other line of business systems because it's centralized in the Dataverse. So again, here's how it works. You fill out a simple form. This is maybe a workflow for your company that you want to institute. You want to have certain fields that you want to collect. It's going to automatically provision that Teams channel and the permissions to that project once it's initiated. Then once you've gotten started with that project, you can log different data like issues and risks, and they're all going to be centralized and administrable in the Dataverse, and they're all going to be available for reporting so that you can have the apps themselves collaborate. You can have Project Online, you can have Power BI and Project for the web, all working together to benefit your team. So that different folks, the project manager, the team member, the executive, are all going to Teams in order to find out what's going on with a project and to work on a project and collaborate. So we want to empower employees to centralize work and project management, modernize cloud-based collaboration, and drive decisions from valuable insights. Let's take a look at what these solutions look like in real life. I'm going to switch the presentation to my other monitor, so just bear with me for 1 sec. And here we are. Okay, so I'm in Teams. Now I'm showing Teams in a browser. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm on this call. But if you were using this solution, you could use the browser-based version of Teams, or you could use the desktop version of Teams, the application. Doesn't matter, either way, it'll work fine. Been on this session for a while, ready to go, so I'm just gonna refresh so I can get started. Now, what you're looking at here is Project for the Web, available within Teams and visible within Teams. And it comes through in a tab right there in that Teams channel. So the channel is called Executive Dashboards, and the tab is called Project. So I have Microsoft Project right here within Teams. Better together, because what we can do is we can use threaded discussion. So we can talk about that project with our team members. We have the ability to view the entire project schedule, the grid view, the board view, the timeline, and the charts right here in Teams. So it's at everybody's fingertips and everybody knows where to find all that information. I can expand it if I wanted to, basically if I wanted to expand the tab so that it's using more of the screen, I can go ahead and do that so that the left part is now gone. And now let's talk about and let's dig into a little bit more about Project and this new version of Project that you may not have seen before and how it interacts with Teams. So here I am, I'm in a project called Executive Dashboards, and I have the ability to have a work breakdown structure like you see in front of me. They call it grid view. They're using terms that are more familiar to other people, like grid view, board view, and that's my Kanban board or my category board. You can see that you can group things by different ways. So you can have an in progress, that would be more of a Kanban board. And then you can look at things by bucket, which is a categorization. You can look at things by priority or labels and who it's assigned to.
I think the important thing to note here, right, Brian, is that this is the same data. It's just different ways to look at it, depending on what
Yep,
people are comfortable with.
that's exactly right. So as Mike noted, if I want to move this task, gather specific requirements from not started to in progress, I can click and drag it, and you can do that in your morning stand-up meeting, or you can watch other people drag things along too, because you'll see it happen in real time if they're doing it on the same at the same time you are. Now, if I do that, I'm going to go back into my grid view and note that gather specific requirements is now marked as 50% complete. Now it assumes 50% because you moved it into in progress, but if you want to be more specific than that, you can click into this card and you can see more information. It's going to tell you the categories. It's also going to tell you have a notes field so you can write more about what this thing is. You can have a checklist, just like in Planner. Looks and feels very similar to Planner. And you note that there's a percent complete column. Well, if I wanted to change that to 27%, and I was being super exact, I could change that. And then that change is going to take place. So now that's 27% complete, but it's still in progress. If I want to move something to done, I can take that task or a different task and move it over to done, and that's going to cross it out and mark it as 100% complete. So now you see that happening in the grid view as well. Let's switch over to the timeline view, which many of you may refer to as a Gantt chart. So a timeline view is a visualization of what's going on in the project, but this is not just a picture. This is something that you can interact with. So we can extend this out, this task, and watch what happens. The tasks that are downstream from that push. So you can see that dependency management, that schedule management. You're not going to get that type of thing from Microsoft Planner, nor are they building that into Planner. Project is where you're going to get project management capabilities. They're just a whole lot easier to use than they have been in the past. You can see that I can flip back between grid, board, and timeline view and see what's going on at a glance. Timeline view is also useful for creating those task dependencies. If you wanted to create a dependency between this task and another, you simply drag and drop an arrow and create a dependency that way. So the ease of use factor and the barrier of entry have almost been eliminated with this. So those people that are managing projects in your organization that are using tools that aren't project management tools and are lacking the ability to have predictable end dates, to see dependencies where they exist and visualize them, are going to love using the new Microsoft project for the web inside of Teams. Let's switch back over to the view team-related channels. What we do with our app, Teams for PM, is provide the ability to have a project intake request form. And that intake request form can have whatever data that you want to capture on it. We do provide some out-of-the-box data points. And you can capture different data related to what this project is and what it's about, what department it's affiliated with, just to give you some examples. So that might be familiar with the HR department. It might, have a brief description and a size associated with it. And you want to go ahead and submit that. What's going to happen is that's going to go through the Teams for PM app, and it's going to initiate a workflow. So Power Automate is actually going to give me an activity notice that I have an action to approve that project. When that comes through, you'll see it kind of give me a notification that I have an action to approve that project. Once I approve that project, Teams for PM, again, our app that we built on the Power Platform to extend these experiences and create a more meaningful project management experience inside of Teams, is going to automatically provision the Teams channel. And that channel is going to be called the project name. It's going to have all the right folks associated with it. And as far as permissions are concerned, it's going to have the tabs that you want to use to capture project information at the top. So again, taking a look at executive dashboards, we can do a lot of things with project inside of Teams, but what we can't do is we don't have a status report. So Teams for PM provides a status report. Oh, I just got my card. So let's take a look at Power Automate card I just got. That card says that the test project in the HR department, it's a large project and it needs my approval. Which scheduler would I like to use? So in which one, how would I like this to be created? Do I want it to create it in Project Online or Project for the Web? Note that those are different tools. Project Online, you get to use the desktop component of Project and synchronize that with the service. Project for the Web is the tool that I just showed you.
Yeah, plus Project Online has some capabilities that aren't yet available for Project for the Web, like time sheeting and some of the other more detailed resource management and portfolio analysis and those kinds of things that people sometimes want to use.
Exactly. So if you're using Project Online already, great, we can do that.
And baseline, thanks.
Baselining.
Yeah, I think baselining is on the roadmap for Project for the Web, but I don't think it's quite out yet.
So what does it look like to use Project Online inside of this interface? So if we provision Project Online instead of Project for the Web, what do we get? Well, basically get very, very similar experience in every other way, except that now you have a Project Online schedule provisioned in the Project Schedule tab. But you still have that project report that I was just showing you on the Executive Dashboards project. Same exact report that's coming from all of these projects regardless of complexity. So I'm using one scheduler for the server upgrade project, and I'm using another scheduler, which is the lighter version of Project for the Web, or the Executive Dashboards project, but the report is almost exactly the same. Another thing that's exactly the same are the issues that I can capture that are related to a project, the risks that I can capture, and the lessons learned that I can capture. Now, you might thinking to yourself, well, I can create these lists. That's no problem. But we go above and beyond that. So no matter what project you're using, you're working on, and no matter what scheduler you're using, Project Online or Project for the Web, we're capturing those risks, issues, and lessons learned in a consistent manner. We're provisioning those tabs exactly the same way for each project so that you can capture the data centrally. And we're visualizing it also inside of reports and inside of our central Teams for PM app. So this is an app that we've built. You heard George mention the Accelerator. That's an app, a Power App that's available directly from Microsoft that you can download and use yourself. This app, Teams for PM, basically does what the Accelerator does, but it also does more than that. It goes above and beyond the capabilities of the Accelerator. The list items that are available inside of the Teams for PM app for the issues, the risks, and the lessons learned are all coming from the respective project channels. So you can see them all here, as well as you can go drill into each project and see them. Well, they're running back and forth. So they're constantly updating back and forth. So you have a centralization of the risks, issues, and lessons learned from a PMO standpoint or from a portfolio standpoint, but you also are allowing the individual project managers and the teams to participate on those things in their own respective channels. So it's interoperability there. And it creates a consistency in the way that people collect this data. Also, just to make it all that much more collaborative and meaningful, and to really bring that data connected to the actual project management itself, we allow you to basically log a risk or issue from a Teams chat thread. So let's say you're chatting either alongside the project schedule or in the posts area here, and you want to actually log a risk or issue. So you can basically do that from the chat. So you can log a create risk or create issue right here. And if I do that, it brings up a little interface where I can provide a title to the risk, cost, probability, impact, and additional description. And so we're bringing that experience right to the conversation that's taking place. And then that risk would be logged in the respective risk list for that project, and also immediately available in the Teams for PM app somewhat immediately. There's something running behind the scenes that needs to move it every few minutes into this risk list over in the central app. So again, that bringing that experience right to the collaboration itself. Back in the executive dashboard project, again, taking another even closer look at Project for the Web inside of that. Project for the Web is super easy to use for your folks that aren't really familiar with other project management tools or just want an easier to use thing. The board view, they might just use that all the time and never use the grid view, but it's just there at their disposal. There's a lot more data that you can capture here by adding columns, dependencies, other fields. You can even create your own custom fields and capture that data. There's also prioritization and bucketizing and things like that. If you want to change the way it looks and feels, you can move things around by dragging them around. So you can see that as well transpire. So I hope you're kind of getting a lot out of the ability to see and witness and experience the use of project inside of Teams, and how that helps really centralize things and make Teams a meaningful experience for project management. I want to switch back to the deck real quick and go through a couple more things.
We're getting very close to the top of the hour there, Brian.
Yep. And we're just about done. So stick around, folks. We have other folks that are using this. So if you want to talk to someone, Southern New Hampshire University is using the project online solution with Teams for Project Management, Teams for PM. And Kurt Mithofer is the Assistant Vice President of Planning and Value Creation over there at Southern New Hampshire University, and has a case study out. So it's on the Microsoft website. It's also on the Teams for PM website, teamsforpm.com. For some next steps, we've made it super easy for you to get in touch with us if you would like to. If you just want to do some more exploring about these solutions, we encourage you to visit teams4pm.com, teams4pm.com. There's a QR code that you can scan on your phone real quick if you want to just use that and you're too lazy to type it in to a browser. When you're on that site, you can visit the other customer case studies that we have, look at some infographics that you can download and print. We have solution briefs that you can take a look at, as well as an ebook on the topic. We have videos, and we have our regular podcast episodes posted there as well. If you would like to contact us, I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you or talk about, just answer a question that you have. If you want to shoot me a question, my email address is here, Brian with a y.quick@innovative-e.com. You can schedule a customized demo for your team or sign up for a collaborative session. Just learn a little bit more about these solutions. No obligation at all. Just give us a call. We're here to help. We're a Microsoft partner in this space, so this is what we do. This is our job, and we're happy to share that information with you. Our app is available in AppSource. So Microsoft AppSource is a Microsoft official place to get apps to enhance the Microsoft solutions. Search for project management for Teams in the Microsoft AppSource, and our solution comes up. Or here's another QR code for you to go directly to it. If you'd like to contact us that way or learn more about a solution, there's some videos and some other documents that accompany that as well. So you can take a look at it that way.
So looking forward to continuing some of the conversation. Really appreciate everybody jumping in and having and participating in the polls as well. There was really great participation in that. So that was fantastic.